I think if we look back at the history of the rise of sex, the rise of violence in cinema, we have to go back to Psycho, because for me, that's the film in which it's no longer entirely possible to separate sex and violence.
Now, Mother, I'm going to bring something up.
That the sexual arousal experienced by poor Norman,
Please, Mother.
gets transformed into the violence that is enacted by his mother in order to, in a way, punish him for his sexual arousal.
Least of all, my big, bold son.
Hitchcock was the first person to really deal with issues like this. And for me, that is the moment in which sex and violence come together in a really provocative and interesting way. But, you know, that's a horror film. I don't know if Hitchcock thought it was a horror film, but it has been subsequently classified as a horror film. And so then there's a certain kind of genre permission for the sex and violence that happens in horror. And I think that Straw Dogs kind of overplays that horror dimension. Especially at the end of all of the violence, when yet another man comes into the house who needs to be dispatched, this time by Amy, protecting her husband from his own imminent death. It's just one too many intruders, and it begins to be a little bit like Night of the Living Dead or a horror film. And so the genres are important here just because we categorize things, and then once we categorize them and put them in a particular box, then, we all know about sex and violence in horror films. But Straw Dogs didn't truly have that kind of protection, just as it didn't have the protection of being a Western to excuse its violence. And so that's one of the reasons why it was such a provocative film. I know women who will not ever look at Straw Dogs.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, a very simple trick. I simply tear a piece of newspaper down the center so, tear it again, fold it towards me. Music, please.
A film like Straw Dogs certainly has contemporary implications for our political discourse today, which is one reason why if I ever do a course again on screening sex, I would teach Straw Dogs, because it does show you how things have changed. I think I would have to say that I have a conflicted response to this film. I think the film deserves its controversial status. I don't think that we should whitewash it and say, Peckinpah's a great artist. He is a great artist, but, there are great artists who, in their artistry, conveyed bad, evil, misogynist, fascist messages. And this is an exemplary version of all of that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Major.
Well, the next item on this evening's program, ladies and gentlemen, is the talented Miss Valerie Richards, who will sing for you the aria Cara